so here is this article which was published on the Critic website, and it's a very good article and it's well worth reading, and you'll find the link to it in the thread. It's called How to Nix the Nats. Governments should stop indulging the SNP, and it's written by a chap there called Jon Stanley. 16th of July 2022, and he makes some very good points in this. Now, he talks a little bit about the Scottish Conservatives and his particular view of them. We're not going to comment on that as such, but rather we're going to look at the actual valuable suggestions that he has given to the next PM. And he advises that the next PM should stop talking about a referendum. Okay, give the SNP essentially a red card. Ignore SNP calls for a referendum. And I like this bit. He goes, stop giving them oxygen. Direct the First Minister to her local MP if she wants to raise a matter which is reserved to Westminster. I really like that idea. Like, sorry, we can't help you. Please contact your local MP if you've got an issue regarding the Constitution. That's actually the way that it should be. That's the way that it should be. Stop indulging Sturgeon. Now, he says, transfer Barnett formula money, which is over 15 billion a year, to the Scotland office so that they directly fund areas in need. Okay? Take back control of it. Create fund holding where Scottish councils are given cash directly for projects according to their level of need. That's how it used to be. That's really good advice. Give it to the councils and the councils will spend it, rather than giving it to Holyrood, who will then withhold it for favours. And here's another thing that people are always talking about. He goes, draft legislation which is similar to the American Logan and Hatch Act, which means ban any elected official engaging in parallel diplomacy with foreign powers. He says, we saw from Brexit how insidious and outrageous such behaviour has become. Only the British government should meet with foreign officials, unless agreed otherwise, of course. Nothing wrong necessarily, I suppose, with the joint diplomatic efforts, but this parallel diplomacy which the SNP is engaging in, pretending to be as if it's already separate from the rest of the United Kingdom, is wrong. He says here, fire the civil servants who engage in planning legislation out with the Scotland Act, by which is meant, of course, is those politicians who those civil servants who are promoting and researching and publishing pro-independence material while they're still working for the British civil service. That shouldn't be allowed. So the first thing to do is to prohibit that. And if they continue to do that, then obviously fire them. As he says, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs isn't devolved. Why should any of the civil service be? And especially, this is a good one, commit now to a national audit of everything the Scottish administration does. That means unconditional open access to all their documentation. Criminalise the redaction of reports by devolved administrations. This is what devolution means. And also ban the funding of third sector groups and charities by devolved government, because what happens with that is that these devolved administrations will give lots of money to their particular favoured non-governmental organisations. He says, the only other country with a politically fuelled third sector where funding is subject to political approval, is the Bunyad system of Iran. As he points out here, it inflates the nationalist payroll, building an army of activists ready for any future political action. Starve this fever now. All good points here, all good points. And he says we must terminate the regionalisation of the BBC and rotate its staff throughout the UK. That's so that they understand properly what's happening in each part of the United Kingdom. The BBC must be overtly unionist because it is overtly British. Balkanisation of licensed media is lunacy. This will save money and be much more inclusive. Very good points, Mr. Jon Stanley. Very good points. And that's the sort of thing. These are the sort of people who need to be advising the next Prime Minister of Great Britain. As he concludes, take the SNP head on. Give us our country back. We are the only nation to vote to remain in the UK when offered a choice. Respect us. Well, of course, Northern Ireland also voted to stay in the UK back in the 1970s, but I take your point, sir. Very good, very good. That's an excellent article. So you'll find that link in our thread there. How to nix the Nats in the Critic magazine.